have said it better ourselves, could we, George? I mean, what excitement we've got in the welterweight division. 2 weeks ago, the emergence of a sensational puncher, Ricardo Mayorga, with his stunning knockout of Vernon Forrest. Now here comes another Mexican puncher, Mayorga Margarito. That'd be lock up the women and children, huh?
No doubt about it. He wasn't even phased by the early lead in by Six-Head Lewis. He kept composure, and he came back with power. This is a tough cookie. He's not just going out of the picture real easy.
Yeah, I think about the matchup with Mayorga. Mayorga, stronger, solider, maybe a bigger hitter punch for punch, but this guy's relentless.
Yeah, it's all maybe against this fella. You better bring all your stuff when you're fighting him, because he can take a beating and then he can come right back. It doesn't faze him.
All right, lightning in the welterweight fight. Let's get ready to see what happens next. As still to come here, the main event, Raul Marquez, who's been campaigning as a middleweight, saw the opportunity to go back down to 154 pounds, the weight class in which he spent the overwhelming bulk of his professional career, to fight Shane Mosley. Mosley coming off of his 2 defeats against Vernon Forrest last year, moving up in weight and looking at a possible rematch with Oscar De La Hoya if he can get past Marquez tonight. Meanwhile, this Tuesday, catch the next Real Sports with Bryant Gumbel. Among the stories, a look at troubled boxer Johnny Tapia. He's had 8 lives of hell and is now working on his 9th. Next Saturday, Boxing After Dark returns with 118-pound champion Tim Austin facing Rafael Marquez. Also, Ricardo Williams takes on Juan Carlos Rubio. February 24, it's the premiere of the HBO sports documentary Jim McKay, My World in My Words. He helped to define the persona of the American sportscaster. And on March 1 on HBO pay-per-view, it's Roy Jones moving up from light heavyweight to heavyweight, taking on title holder John Ruiz. HBO Boxing. For 30 years, building legends 1 round at a time. All year this year, we celebrate our 30th anniversary of boxing here on HBO. In each of our telecasts, a brief vignette to cover one of the outstanding stories from those 30 years. And now, the theme of the evening is It's a Blood Sport. So let's all cringe together as we look back with pride on the bloodiest fights of 30 years of boxing on this network.
Effectively sticking that right hand in the face of a bloodied Vito Antuofermo. We expected to see a bloody fight.
Let's go just a little bit more.
Blood showing from the left eye of Ray Mancini. It hasn't been showing for the last 6 rounds.
Started flowing less than a minute into the fight, and De La Hoya lands another right hand, and now the blood really begins to flow. And the blood bothering Julio. Now his nose is bleeding too.
He's calling the fight. The fight is over.
The blood is starting to flow from above the left eye, and Gotti can't see the right hand coming with the blood flowing over his eye.
I don't know how he can survive this fight or even this round.
Your corner's tossing the towel in. Stop it.
That'll do it. And more memories begin March 5 and every Wednesday for 12 weeks. HBO Sports presenting Legendary Nights, a documentary series about our 12 most memorable matchups from 30 years of boxing here on HBO. Don't miss it. And a live look at Las Vegas on this chilly night. Along the strip behind the green door of Las Vegas lie all of the sinful delights of mankind. Some of them legal and some of them not. Still to come, Shane Mosley against Raul Marquez. The fight takes place at 154 pounds in Mosley's first visit to that weight class. Former lightweight champion, former welterweight champion of the world, now moving up 7 pounds to junior middleweight. Prior to his 2 devastating losses to Vernon Forrest last year, Shane Mosley had gone 9 years without being the loser in a fight. So everyone agrees that part of the challenge coming back tonight against Raul Marquez is how to respond psychologically to the trauma of those 2 crushing defeats. For more on that, we accessed a sports psychologist for his input on the challenge.
Shane Mosley's never been down in his career.
One of Shane Mosley's greatest challenges is to overcome the stigma of his only 2 professional losses, both to Vernon Forrest. Critics who once heralded Shane as the best pound-for-pound fighter now question whether he has the mental toughness to come back.
I think that God has been on his side, and he's, in some kind of way, he finds a way to win the fight. I don't know if he has my number. I think that he's, a good boxer and technician, and it may be a little harder for me to fight, but I do think that I can beat him. I do think I have the stuff to beat him.
Shane is such a likable, engaging guy. You can't help but be attracted to that kind of modesty and goodness. But here, I think the will to win and the competitive fire isn't brought to the surface.
Dr. Fran Pirazzolla is a sports psychologist and mental skills coach whose list of credits includes the New York Yankees and boxer Evander Holyfield.
Well, it's the game. It's the whole game. I mean, I'm fond of saying that baseball or golf or whatever, boxing, is 100% physical and it's 100% mental. If you don't get with that right away, you're in trouble.
Well, in the first fight, when he came in and he got me with the head, it distracted me, and then I didn't take the proper time to recuperate and recover, and it kind of knocked me off focus when that happened. And I think that was the deciding part of that fight.
This is such a vivid, visceral autopsy of the fight. I mean, you feel that he was, as he says, knocked off his focus, knocked off his feet. And I think that in our training, we ought to be prepared to handle whatever comes. Be prepared to handle any distraction, any annoyance, any change in strategy, anything from the outside.
Arizona Diamondbacks pitcher Curt Schilling knows a thing or two about winning and losing. As one of the best players in baseball today, Schilling has recorded 155 career wins, but he's also lost 108 times.
If someone's beaten me consistently, I'll figure out a way to beat them at some point, sooner rather than later. But to me, that defines excellence. People that can adjust and get better regardless of the scenario or the situation.
Between the first and second fight, I just went into it thinking that it's going to be it's another fight. And I took mentally and physically, I was prepared and I was ready to go in there and offset his style.
Look, humans learn by trial and error, and it has great value to make a mistake, to lose, and then to make an adjustment. I would want him to think a lot about losing, and I would want to capture the negative energy and emotion to drive his workouts, his training, and sharpen his focus. Not forget about the failure.
When I'm struggling against somebody, I'll address all the external issues and look around and see what I feel like I need to do physically, and then I'll do it mentally. I've already gotten them beat in my mind, and I've seen myself beat them over and over and over again. Now it just becomes a play that I have to act out.
The technique of playing out this inner rehearsal is called visualization. Dr. Pirazzolla used this form of mental training to prepare Evander Holyfield for his second fight with Riddick Bowe.
This is an example of the positive visualization that we wanted Evander to have. It depicts a Christ-like figure with his hand on Evander's shoulder, bringing the fight to Riddick Bowe. 6 months later, after we did this painting, Evander fought a much better fight and beat Riddick Bowe.
As Shane Mosley faces a new weight division and an uncertain future in the ring, he'll be doing it alone, without a sports psychologist, relying on his own experiences, past and present.
Now my life is good. I feel confident. I feel comfortable, and I just feel like getting into the ring and then doing it again.
Back live at ringside with Big George Foreman. And George, within everything that the psychologist says there is the implicit suggestion that it would be good for Shane to accept what happened in those defeats to Forrest, to sort of inculcate the negativity of that, rather than doing what it seems to me fighters usually do, which is to make an alibi, rationalize it, and try to move on. What's your take on all that?
Well, I think old Doc was just doing a lot of talk, just like the three of us. Fortunately, we get paid for it.
So does
Doc too. But realistically, in a boxing match, even with Ali, I said the ropes were loose. I got doped. You need excuses if you're going to be a boxer. You can never say I lost. And I think the doctor should spend a sentimental journey in the boxing profession for a while, and he'll see that no one is lost in this business.
Well, that's true.
No one ever loses.
Certainly not among the fighters we've spoken to. Larry, what's your take on what George says? And George believes it pretty firmly, obviously.
Well, it used to be said of the Hall of Fame quarterback Bobby Lane, he never lost a game, he just ran out of time. And of course there's Ring Lardner's great fictional character Alibi Ike, who alibied all of his shortcomings. I think what the good fighters do is they look for some little excuse. You know, their aunt was sick and their mother was bothered by it, or they cut their pinky, or they missed a half a day of workout, whatever it is. But then they go to work on what they found was a shortcoming, whether it was in training or technique. But alibis are a part of human behavior, whether you're a fighter or just an average citizen at work.
So you're saying if my 11-year-old son finds his homework continually eaten by the dog, he's going to be a fighter? So, Larry, when Oscar De La Hoya moved up from 147 to 154 pounds, after his loss to Shane Mosley, there were questions about his commitment, about his ability to throw hard punches and take hard punches in the new weight class. Now here comes Mosley making the same move. What are the questions about Shane?
Well, after smoking Mayorga, smoked Vernon Forrest, has he already become a nicotine addict? Maybe that's the way to do it. But seriously and more politically correct, Shane Mosley made a smooth and even brilliant transition from lightweight to welterweight. But can he make the transition upward? Is he strong enough? Is he good enough to fight the big guys and at 154? In that second fight with Forrest, he threw only 20 punches in a tactical calculation, 20 punches around. And he didn't come on in the late rounds and sell himself out the way he did to beat Oscar De La Hoya. So did he reveal some sort of flaw, some caution in him when he's fighting these bigger fellas? Is he the great fighter many of us thought he was, or is he just a terrific sugar substitute? Questions to be asked, and the answers, I'm sure, by the end of the night will be questioned.
Well, some of them anyway. And of course, George Foreman, the guy he's about to face, Houston's own Raul Marquez, your neighbor, hasn't been in with a top fighter since he got hammered by Fernando Vargas back in the middle of 1999. Now he comes along and finds this opportunity. Does Raul still have enough stuff to pose those hard questions to Mosley that Larry's talking about?
To Marquez, this should be a bird nest on the ground. How often are you going to catch a good fighter like Sugar Shane Mosley coming off of 2 defeats? His confidence is kind of low. You haven't been bleeding in almost 2 years. You've had some activity. You're bigger, you're stronger, you're in a weight division that belongs to you. Look, this is the time to pull it off. If ever in your career you can do it, this should be it. Plus, you're from Houston.
All that, and you understand the reasons why Raul picked up the phone and called Mosley and said, hey, why don't you fight me? Net result, $325,000 gross. Not bad, incidentally. During the first fight between rounds, we introduced you to our internet poll question for the evening. You can log on to hbo.com/boxing and answer the question, will Shane Mosley return to the top? And 68% of you believe in Mosley's talent and believe that he will be back in the spotlight. Tail of the tape now for Shane Mosley against Raul Marquez. And you will see that they're both 31 years old. They would have been teammates on the 1992 Olympic team if Mosley had beaten Vernon Forrest as he was expected to do in the final of the Olympic trials. Instead, Marquez went to Barcelona, where he roomed with a fellow named Oscar De La Hoya. 1.5-inch height advantage for Marquez, equal in reach at 74. They both weighed in at 154 tonight. Unofficially, excuse me. Marquez will outweigh Mosley on our HBO unofficial scale by only 1 pound as they go into the ring. Rules of the bout with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
The Shane Mosley Raul Marquez fight is scheduled for 12 rounds, non-title, using the unified rules of the Association of Boxing Commissions. There is no 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight. In case a cut is caused by an accidental headbutt, we go to the scorecards after 4 rounds have been completed, and you cannot be saved by the bell in any round, including the 12th and final round. Jim.
All right, thank you, Harold. Well, after he lost to Fernando Vargas, Raul Marquez would have been justified in thinking that he would never again make the walk to the ring for a big fight on HBO television. Took a job as expert commentator on our HBO Latino broadcast. Now, as George Foreman puts it, he finds a bird's nest on the ground.
That's right, and I'm telling you, he's got the size and the stature to do it if he wants it that bad.
Yeah, but the bird in that nest might be an eagle, and I don't know if he wants to deal with that. You know, a lot of people think that this is the U.S. against Grenada, and he's Grenada.
Another thing, that bird is a woodpecker.
Or a hummingbird when he really gets it going. There's the ring experience for Marquez. One of the knocks against him is that he bleeds leaving the dressing room. And it looks like there's a little blood spot up by his hairline. But yes, if Raul Marquez's eyes and eyebrows can hold up under the pounding of Mosley, that'll be a surprise to a lot of ringside observers. He was badly cut against Keith Mullings back in 1997. And Shane Mosley says he feels good.
There is a serious subtext to this fight, which Mosley says hasn't been a distraction. The negotiation for the rematch with Oscar De La Hoya, which has hit a real snag. Originally, Mosley agreed to take $4.25 million, which was $250,000 less than he got for beating De La Hoya. Now he says he wants more. He has another day or two to reconsider, maybe squeeze out a few more dollars, decide whether he wants to swallow his champion's pride, take the short end, and try to beat De La Hoya again.
George, it's got to be a brutally bitter pill to be asked to take 20% of the money against a guy you beat.
If 20% of the money is over $1 million, it's a lot of money.
It's over $4 million, George.
Well, that's what I meant. I'm telling you, I would love to take 20%, and it turns out to be $4 million. I would love it.
Well, we'll see if Shane agrees to do that in the next several days. First off, he's got to get a win tonight. So let's go to Michael Buffer for the official introductions.
From the Mandalay Bay of Las Vegas, Bob Arum's Top Rank Incorporated is proud to present the main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing. This is in the junior middleweight division. Brought to you in association with IMG, along with your undisputed king of beers, Budweiser, and HBO Sports. Sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, Chairman Dr. Luther Mack, Executive Director Mark Ratner. The 3 judges at ringside scoring this contest will be Carol Castellano, Keith McDonald, and Dave Moretti. And when the bell rings, your referee in charge of the action, Kenny Bayless. And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino here in Las Vegas, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing red with white. He weighed in officially at 154 pounds. This 1992 U.S. Olympian now has an outstanding professional record consisting of 34 victories, including 23 knockouts against only 2 defeats. And he has captured a world title. Tonight, his plans are a return to glory. From Houston, Texas, here is the former junior middleweight champion of the world, Raul El Diamante Marquez. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing black with gold, he officially weighs 154 pounds. His professional record, 38 victories, including 35 knockouts, also with only 2 defeats. And he has held 2 world titles in 2 divisions. Tonight, he moves up in weight as he looks for a 3rd world championship. From Pomona, California, presenting the former lightweight, former welterweight champion of the world, Sugar Shane Mosley.
One person in Shane.
Unroll me. Okay, gentlemen, your trunks are high here. Any punches thrown in this area is going to be considered a clean punch. Okay? Here. Okay? Trunks is okay here. Now, gentlemen, we went over the rules in the dressing room. I want you to keep the fight clean at all times, protect yourself at all times, and what I say you must obey. Touch gloves. Good luck.
Jim reminded you all that Marquez is a commentator on HBO Latina. So this is an opportunity for all of you who'd like to see an HBO commentator get beaten up.
Yeah, but Larry, this might not be the HBO commentator that people want to see get beaten up.
This is a real nice guy, I can tell you that.
He's one of the nicest people in the sport, Raul Marquez. In fact, how a terrific guy like Raul Marquez got hooked up with a clothing company named Thug Life is one of the mysteries of the week.
It's just clothes, just clothes.
That's what Raul would say, I'm sure. His plan, George, is to come in with his hands held high, work behind his defense, try to pressure Shane Mosley, and impose his power on him. What do you think of the plan?
Well, you want to keep your hands high, but you got to keep your body high also. He seemed to keep his hands low, but he's dropping his head right in the range of Shane Mosley. You want to, if you're a little taller at all, take advantage of it. Stay up a little taller. That's what Marquez should be doing.
Marquez leads with the left hand. Mosley comes back with a right down the pipe.
There's a real reason for the high hands, higher than he's ever held them before, and that's to protect his eyes, which tend to bleed easily.
When he does something with his hand, he goes up a little higher and then down below his chin. So you catch a rhythm to that if you're a fighter. Sooner or later, you can get that.
Work out. Stop
Up above the eye and then below the eyebrows. I mean, below the, you get a nice rhythm for that. And then he goes after.
When they were amateurs, Marquez outweighed Mosley by 20 pounds. In the 10 years since, Shane Mosley has gradually added what amounts to 20 pounds of muscle.
A good straight left hand by Marquez momentarily stunned Mosley.
And the sharp right hand up the middle by Mosley. George, fighter adds 20 pounds of muscle during his career. Is that still his body?
There we go.
Shane is going to have to box, but he better understand he's heavy because of it, and you can only use those legs with that extra weight so much. Marquez, whenever he lands a good shot, he's going to knock Mosley back. No, that's a given.
This despite the fact that Mosley has been lifting 500 pounds from a squat. That's incredible power out of the legs. But, of course, weightlifting power doesn't necessarily translate into the boxing ring.
When you're in a boxing sport, it's altogether different. Guys throw and hit at your nerves, things that you can't build up with weights.
Marquez blocking Mosley's jabs. Shane's done his best damage in the round when he's gone to the body. And that's to be expected with Marquez holding the guard that high.
Mosley's doing a good job of keeping his right hand up whenever that straight left is thrown. He seems to have it in position on most occasions.
Heads, fellas. Come on, watch your heads now. Watch your heads.
There's a hard right hand by Mosley. Marquez shaking his head as if to say, that didn't hurt me. Sure it did.
But he caught the rhythm to it. He caught the rhythm of his head, dropping his hands up and down. Marquez got to keep that rhythm down. Keep your hands in position.
Nice buddy punch by Marquez.
Reaching under to get to Mosley's body with the left hand.
Marquez is going to do something that's going to be done from the body up. Keep this from the body on up. Not head down to the body.
They touch gloves after the first round.
Okay. I want you to relax, though, and continue to keep your left hand to block this right jab, okay? You're not on your toes a little bit. Once you get on your toes a little bit, throw some feints. Okay? You're throwing some good body shots. Where's the bucket to spin in?
If he steps to your right, you have to throw. You listen. Okay?
Deep breath. Deep breath.
Whenever you throw a punch and he backs up, you need to step with a frame defense. Beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
We're nothing. Motherfucker ain't shit.
No me bajes las manos cuando tira porque no te están dando nada. Okay? Punches are not going in at all.
You can beat this guy, all right?
You heard the reference to a frame defense. That's the defense with his arms in front of his body, his fists in front of his head, like a house frame.
CompuBox numbers in round one. Mosley 10 out of 41 in a relatively cautious round. Marquez 4 out of only 32 punches thrown. Marquez seemingly trying to feel his way into the fight a little bit. And Mosley resorting more and more to the straight right hand to begin his attack, as Marquez is determined to block his jab.
Marquez is doing a good job of moving in with his hands up, but he should be moving his jab a little bit more.
Listen to my command. Listen to my command. Watch your hands. All right, fellas, there we go.
There's no jab coming from Marquez. You don't
he
make a
tried
fight
one,
like
and
that.
Mosley blocked it a foot away from his body.
And once a fighter knows you're not going to hit him with anything, though you're coming and coming and coming, takes all kind of privileges with you.
Step back. Let him up.
Marquez slipped in the straight left hand. That one Mosley blocks with his right.
Hold it. Let him up. Come on, here we go.
I think the fight is better for Marquez is when he keeps Shane Mosley against the ropes. I wouldn't let him have too much of the middle of the ring at all. Gives him 3 steps backwards, and you miss him when you throw a shot.
Well, Vernon Forrest, bigger than Mosley, was dominant when he took him to the ropes. And now Marquez gets Mosley into a corner and lands a straight left hand.
Yeah, he's big. Marquez is strong.
Mosley is having a tough time penetrating that defense.
Again, he gets the right hand through to the body. Again, he lands nothing significant upstairs. So it's going to take some body punching on the part of Shane Mosley to loosen that Marquez defense.
Mosley has not been able to land that good left hook, but he loves to fight with.
Now he slips in a right hand. Marquez comes back with a straight left. Mosley in the corner again. Marquez relatively cautious as he approaches it.
Come on.
I get the sense that when Marquez lands one of those left hands, even to the gloves, it moves Mosley a little bit.
Mosley with a good left hook to the body, and now a right hand underneath Marquez's guard, and that loosens up the defense enough for Mosley to land the 2 straight right hands upstairs.
Because once a guy get hurt in the side, he's got to keep his hands there to protect, to make certain you don't do it again, and you can get to doing something else.
So there's the formula. You see Shane going straight to the solar plexus with the right hand again, trying to bring the guard down and set up something upstairs.
Well,
Marquez is not afraid of Shane Mosley, I can tell you that.
I don't think Marquez is afraid of anybody. You know, he kept going after Vargas when Vargas was just tearing him up.
That's what you got to do. If you're a good boxer, you want your man to follow you around, land a shot, take a turn, and make him come into another.
Marquez getting more aggressive, lands a right hand over the top. Hasn't landed anything big, but he's hunting and pecking a little better in that second round than he did in the first.
Very simple. Very simple. What you gonna do? Anytime you give me some head movement in the pocket, Raul.
Listen to my command on those breaks, okay? All right, Kenny, no problem.
Yes, sir. Anytime.
Heart rate down.
Raul.
Heart rate down.
In there.
Yeah, stop putting ice on the trigger.
Okay. Feint. Look at me. Use your feint, Shane, because he's looking for you to go to that body. You can feint, you can jab. You can do some things now because you're hurting him.
What?
You're really hurting him. And I think the body shot over here hurt him also.
All right, there's a sign on Marquez's body that says,
that's the left hook that may
here.
Change things right there. It hurts, makes you readjust your defense to protect your body, bring your hands down.
Okay, seconds out, let's go.
Power punches in round 2. Those are all punches which aren't jabs, hooks, crosses, uppercuts. Marquez 6 out of 28. Mosley 11 out of 25. And most of those hard shots to the body that we discussed. Now Marquez seizes the initiative and steps in with a straight left hand.
Whenever he leads with his straight left, Marquez is very successful. He never misses.
Marquez with the right to the body after Mosley had stuck a straight right hand. There's that left hook to the body again by Mosley. Marquez with the straight left upstairs. And they bang heads. And now there's a cut over Marquez's eye. And that's the Achilles heel of Raul Marquez. And he's telling Kenny Bayless he thinks it was intentional.
That was a headbutt.
It was a headbutt.
That was a fucking headbutt, man.
Okay, let him go. Let him go. Okay, time in.
Well, we agree that the cut is from a headbutt.
Come on.
I think the point that Marquez is trying to make is that it wasn't accidental.
Well, that's not true.
These guys, they're going to bump heads a lot. Anytime you jump in and you're a southpaw and another guy likes to jump in, you're going to butt heads.
That's it, George. It's a southpaw and a conventional fighter, and that happens.
And Mosley landed a straight right hand down the pipe there. And the nature of Marquez's cut, the location of the cut, it will compromise his vision if his cut man isn't able to get it under control.
Stop. Hold on. Look, stop. Time. Oh, look, come here. Listen, fellas, come here. Let's go left. Listen to my command. I will start deducting points if it doesn't stop right now. Understand? All right, touch gloves. Time in.
From whom? For what? What point deductions?
From complaining. That's all that's happening. Both guys are complaining.
It's like Bayless thought it might be a knockdown for a second and then decided no.
Well, it might have been a flash knockdown.
Now Mosley's knocked off balance.
He's going to find that Marquez is no easy fight. This guy's not a turkey.
Look out!
And Marquez decides it can become a street fight. Maybe that'll help him.
Stop,
Mosley keeps going back to the body.
And Moses has done something he should have done a long time ago. Get upset.
Look out! Hold. Watch out! Sit back, fellas. Let go.
He's been nice. These guys have been friends all week, shaking hands, hugging. Now all of a sudden they realize that he's upset that the other is upset.
Work out.
You want to know how nice Shane Mosley is? He's as angry as I've ever seen him about this monetary offer from De La Hoya for the possible fight in September. Yesterday, I saw a list of Shane Mosley's 5 closest friends, and Oscar's still right there on the list.
Oh,
what a body shot by Mosley.
Marquez is having some problem with the blood going around the eye, but he's been in a...
Another cut over the left eye, which Marquez again says is because of a butt.
Headbutt again.
I quit.
Accidental headbutt.
He takes his mouthpiece out.
Look at it.
In that occasion.
Man, 2 cuts in the round, both as the result of accidental headbutts.
Accidental headbutt, the fight has to be stopped, okay? Fight has to be stopped.
The fight has to be stopped, and that's that. Harold, what's going to happen here?
Okay, Jim, believe it or not, this is a no decision. It used to be called the technical draw.
Yes.
Now, in case the cut is caused by an accidental headbutt, and the fight is stopped before the bell ends to end the 4th round, it's a no decision. We're in the 3rd round. It's going to go down as a no decision, as if they never fought. It's incredible.
I think Mosley's over there trying to convince Shane that or trying to convince Raul that it was accidental.
I'm strong. I know I'm done.
Yeah, man, you can do it better, baby. It's a fight, man.
Well, I can certainly understand how it's hard for a guy like Marquez in his position, knowing that this was what was expected, that he would cut. It's hard for him to accept on the face of it that there was nothing intentional about the 2 butts. Right, George?
Nothing intentional, but it's kind of discouraging because he knows that, hey, I'm going to bleed anyway. His guy didn't open it up with a punch, I believe. He's headbutted me. His has to be intentional.
He just quit.
Here's the first headbutt, George.
And it wasn't initiated by Shane, you know.
No, exactly. That was Marquez banging his head into Shane's, if anything else. The head was right there, and Marquez banged his own head into Mosley's head. So that one, I mean, if you look at it, it's hard to imagine that was...
There goes again.
Nah, that's unintentional. Certainly it's unintentional on Mosley's part.
You know what? Marquez is the tough cookie. Too bad about that scar tissue around the eye.
Tough cookie, great guy. But, you know, once you are in this position where your face cuts like that, it's hard to stop it. Boom.
Oh, they both just accidentally butted heads.
Yeah, and that's the end, and Marquez walks away as if to say, what am I going to do? And here's another angle. Oh, well, Marquez pulled Mosley's head into his own.
Yeah, it was just accidental, both guys. You know, Marquez didn't want to butt his head. So
you know, Raul's a fair-minded guy. When he sees the video, he's going to realize that these were unintentional. Let's go to Michael Buffer for the official particulars.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout comes to an end. The official time is 2 minutes, 41 seconds of round number 3 as referee Kenny Bayless calls a halt to the action in the ring. Raul Marquez suffered a wound too difficult for him to continue. Referee stops the bout. 4 rounds must be completed to go to a decision. Therefore, this contest is called no decision.
So the crowd begins to try to get its bearings in response to the sudden developments of round 3. After a couple of reasonably interesting rounds between Raul Marquez and Shane Mosley, what was regarded in some circles as the inevitable began to happen. The inevitable, Raul Marquez bleeding. Unquestionably the product of 2 butts. The video seeming to indicate, George Foreman and I both agreeing, accidental headbutts.
No, there was nothing intentional about it. They both just happened to run into their heads. Southpaws and conventional fighters, it happens all the time.
Let's go to Larry Merchant in the ring.
Thank you, Jim. Well, the fans are very unhappy the fight was stopped. Could you have gone on?
Well, I mean, hey, I got to leave it up to the referee. I was cut above both eyes. I mean, the doctor. He stopped it. I wanted to keep going. You know me, I'm a warrior. I think I was fighting the right fight. He never hit me with a clean shot where I was hurt. And I wanted the fight, man. I think I was in the fight. I was getting better. That was the style that we were using to get to him. And you saw I was getting to him.
Did you believe that either or both of those fights was deliberate? Those butts were deliberate?
One of them was. One of them was.
You mean the first one?
The first one, yes.
All right, let's take a look at it, and you tell me what you see as we get this up on the monitor.
Well, I'm trying to work myself in, and boom. I mean, he comes in. You know what, Larry? I mean, now that I look at it, you know. I'm an analyst.
Now you're
lefty righties. I mean,
okay, so
heads come together.
You're a fight analyst. Here's the same thing. Both of you were coming lefty righty.
Oh, yeah. He was coming. I was coming. We banged heads.
All right. So you're withdrawing the accusation that it was deliberate, and you see now that it was an accident.
You know, when you're in there, it's different. He told me, Raul, you know, the first one I did it accidentally. I mean, the first one was, you know, I guess he meant it. The second one was an accidental. So, you know, hey, now that we see it on the screen, it's different. But you know what? We could do it again. I thought I was in the fight. We'd do it again.
All right, let's take a look at the second butt. Now, on this occasion, you're coming to him again, lefty, righty.
We hit heads again.
And you have been known to bleed.
Well, I've been known to cut, bleed.
This is an Achilles heel of yours.
It is, but you know what? My main concern is that I didn't cut from a punch. It was headbutts. You know, he hit me with some shots.
All right, do you feel, regardless of whether you ever fight Shane Mosley again or not, do you feel after almost 3 rounds that you did well enough to keep fighting?
Absolutely. I think so. I mean, I think I was in the fight. I think I was very surprised that of Shane's speed is not what I thought it would be. and I was a stronger guy in there. He said, man, you're strong. He was backing up. I was the stronger guy, and I landed good punches, too.
Thank you very much, Raul.
Thank you.
Jim, just one moment now. We're going to talk to Shane Mosley.
Yes.
All right. Shane, when he accused you of a deliberate butt, did you just think that was something in the heat of battle, or did you think that he was just frustrated, or what?
He was a little frustrated, I think, because he's southpaw and the way he fights. Not because most southpaws are more leaning back, and he was more on his front leg, and he'll dive in with the straight left, and he'll lead with his head first.
All right, let's take a look at it on the monitor from your point of view of the first butt, which really was the most important one.
Wow. See, now that was a headbutt that he did on me. I mean, the way he throws his punches, he comes right into me with the headbutt, and he didn't do it on purpose. That's just the way he fights, and style made the fight. See, I'm coming in, he's coming in, and we're both trying to get the shots off, and he just keeps hitting me with the with the head, and he thinks that he thought that I was hitting him with the headbutt. But I said, no, you're hitting me with the headbutt.
All right. A couple of things then. You moved up to 54. You fought a guy who was a strong, natural 154-pounder. What did you feel in there?
Well, I mean, I didn't feel much difference. It felt the same to me. It's just like a welterweight fight. Raul has been laid off for a little while, so I don't think he's the strongest junior middleweight that I'll probably ever face. But he came to fight. He worked out for a good 2-3 months. Got trimmed his weight down. He fought a couple of fights at 168, so he was coming down. So I guess he was pretty strong for that.
You haven't won a fight now in a year and a half. How frustrating is this for you?
Well, it's a little frustrating, but I consider this fight a win because I know that he was on his way to going out. I mean, even though he was very courageous and everything, he wanted to fight, but he was on his way. I was on my way to catch him with a good shot. I was breaking him down with the body shots, and he was just about ready to go.
All right, let's talk now about the future, the Oscar De La Hoya negotiations. You've said you are not going to accept the sum of $4.25 million, which represents a 75-25 split in his favor, in which De La Hoya would get $12 million. Are you standing on that as a matter of your pride, that if that's the final offer, this is an absolute no?
Well, I mean, I was told that there was $20 million in the pot, and if De La Hoya's getting 12 and they want me to have 4, then where's the other $4 million?
Well, the promoter wants to get paid too.
Well, I mean, the promoter can't get what I get. I'm the fighter. So I don't know what to say about that.
All right. We're looking now at the possibility that Oscar De La Hoya could fight a rematch with Vargas. There are reports, a little stronger than rumors, that Trinidad is seriously thinking of coming out of retirement. That could put Oscar De La Hoya off your party list for a long, long time. Will this enter into your final decision?
Well, the way I look at it, Larry, is, I'm the last guy to beat De La Hoya, and De La Hoya wants greatness, so he wants to fight me. He wants to fight Sugar Shane. He came knocking on my door saying that he wanted to fight me. At least be generous, be a little courteous, and don't be so rude about, offering me this chump change.
$4 million is a lot of chump change.
Well, yeah, not when you get 4.5 for the first time you fought him when I beat him.
So you feel that in your business situation, you could walk away from this, fight other junior middleweights, and just let it happen down the road?
I think so. I mean, I'm making good money on each fight. I'm still a household name. Fans, you can see there's a lot of people here to come to watch Sugar Shane fight. So I still draw a pretty good crowd.